Every honest conversation can become the rising sun. Welcome to the safe space where hearts can grow and minds embrace. We don't judge, we don't shame, but we won't pretend that pain's okay. Love speaks truth with open grace. That's the power of the safe
Welcome
space.
to the safe space, guys. Today's discussion is letting go of the old and trusting God when freedom provokes opposition. I read today, I was reading Acts chapter 16, and there is a part where it kind of stands up where, 16 to 34, and I've spoken this with my co-host, and I think she'll be coming up momentarily, where Paul and Silas cast a spirit out of a slave girl and are beaten and imprisoned, and worship God in their suffering and witness God miraculously open the prison doors. So I'm just going to say some verses that support a little bit on this. So Isaiah chapter 43, 18 through 19. Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. And we got a message. Hey, Renaissance, what's up? Thanks for joining, man.
Hey, tree. Hey, tree. That's what I would
What's
say
up,
if I
Renaissance?
met you in post. I would, hey, tree.
I love it. Hey, what's up, Renaissance? Thanks for joining. Hey, and here's our co-host, Lotus B. London. Thanks for joining, girl. Thanks for joining. Thanks for
Hello,
coming
my
to topic.
darling. Thank you
Hello.
so much. Thank you. Hello,
Hello. Thank you for
hello. How are
joining,
you?
guys. Doing great.
Thank you
We
for
just...
joining Renaissance Black Tea. How are you doing? Sorry, living true, as you saying.
Oh, you're good, girl. You're good.
I need to
Good
like
morning.
work on the introduction. We need to
Yeah,
work on this introduction.
I get it. I did a little intro just now. So
Oh, good,
we'll be
good.
fine for now. Yeah, we'll be good for a little bit, and then we'll work on something.
Okay.
But yeah, guys, thanks for joining us this morning here. If you're from the United States, thanks for joining. It is 9 o'clock. Well, it's about to be 9 o'clock on the dot. And here in the US, what time is it in London, Lotus?
It is 2:59 right now in London, UK time.
Oh, it's about to be 3 o'clock. All right, guys. So, like I said, guys, today's topic is letting go of the old, trusting God when freedom provokes opposition. What do you think about that, Lotus? What comes onto your mind when you think of letting go of the old?
I think freedom within yourself, connection to God, um, self-love, strength. Those are the things that come to my mind because it takes strength to let go. Like it takes strength to detach from things that you genuinely sometimes even want to be around because your soul craves it, but you know it's not good for you. And being able to let go of those things and detach and connect to God and follow what he's trying to like the path that he's trying to put you in, it takes a lot of strength because I think as humans we desire like we're flawed, aren't we? Like we have our desires and sometimes they can overtake us. And I think, yeah, that's what comes to my mind: strength, self-love, connection to God, uh,
Mm,
renewing of self, you know?
I love it.
Like you every time you let go of something that does not serve you or your highest purpose in a positive, good way, you basically are showing the universe and God, this is how I want to live, and this is not what I want. I want good for myself. I want positivity in my life, and you want good things, and that's how you show God and the universe, by letting go of these things. But when you continue to stick to it and keep it just because it feels great or it feels familiar, and you think that it's a short term dopamine rush or whatever it is for you, how it makes you feel, making you feel good, it's a short thing. But when you detach from those things and you attach yourself to things that will cause you long term, dopamine rush, like, and just like long term happiness and positivity and goodness in your life, it lasts longer. Don't you think, Living Tree? Do you feel like that? Those kind of things last way longer for years. Do you know what I mean? Because you've put in the work to let go, because you've put in
Yes.
the work to recognize what God's trying to teach you. And yeah, whether that's, I don't know, everybody has their own beliefs and what they believe their high, their own way of believing their creator and what that is for them. But whatever that is, having that connection and
Yeah.
letting go of the things that don't serve you, I think that's
So
how you elevate in life, you know?
definitely, definitely. So I'm going to go to the Bible because, I'm a Christian. So I'm going to go to
Yes.
Philippians chapter 3, verse 13 through 4, which says, "Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal." So sometimes, like she was saying, sometimes when we are holding things back, whether it's hurt, trauma, pain, all this stuff, we can't get into the new things, even material things.
No.
I know a lot of people who, because they're in a business, they're attached to these physical things, or attached to, like me myself, attached to a vehicle or something, that it's kept you from leveling up because of the comfortability you are with the familiarity of where you are in your situation. And that's
Mhm.
something, yeah, that's something that we
Mhm.
need to let go, because God wants to make room for new things. I'm going to go also to,
Yes.
yeah, He wants to make room for new things. So I'm going to go also to James, verse 1, uh, chapter 1, sorry, verse 2 through 4. "Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials, because the testing of your faith produces perseverance." So when we are going through these things, like, be happy, be happy that you're going through this stuff, because God is testing you through things, man. Like, for example, if you're going through some, like a breakup or a relationship thing, be happy that God removed that person, especially after you prayed the prayer. In my instance, I hate when it happens, because, like, I get the illusion of being in a relationship, or the illusion of being happy and what I want, and then God knows more than I do. Or I get the illusion of, trying to fix a vehicle, or trying to save up for a new car, and God knows that He's saving us from something, from something that's way
Yes.
bigger than us, me and you. Shout out to Faye, guys, and the listeners.
Faye, hello. Hello, Faye. How you doing? I hope
What's
you
up,
are.
Faye? Thanks for
We
joining.
love Faye. Love you,
We do love
Worm
Faye.
and Menacence. Thank you for coming in and listening. And the new
Yeah,
listeners,
thanks for joining,
thank you for
guys.
coming in and joining us in our conversations about life, God, relationships, everything. And going through the motions. You know, one thing I love, Living Tree, about our
What's up?
connection is the fact that
Hmm.
in real time we're going through certain things, but we unpack it together. Like, we guide each other, we
Yeah,
speak on it. And this podcast as well, not only is it helping us, but I feel like anyone who is going through similar situations and who is going through a transition in their life, whether that's spiritually or, I don't know, whatever way, it
financially,
also
physically.
naturally, yeah, like it really, I think it does help people, because I've had comments recently, even people mention listening to our stuff. Like, one person actually said remember Shadow. You were there
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, yeah.
Shadow, yeah. Like, I think we are helping ourselves, and we're helping others. So I love that. I love that about this podcast.
And that's why we created the safe space, guys. Make sure you guys check out our YouTube. We're going to be posting on it, the safe space. We're posting all these talks on there as we go. So make sure you guys are following our YouTube channel. I'm going to be posting the link to it on our profile. And yeah, guys, comment if you guys have opinions and everything. We love to hear you guys' comments on everything. By the way, shout out to Worm, Menaissance, Faye, Sacred Gem, Teresa Childs. Thanks for joining, guys.
Shout
And we're going to
out.
keep it,
Thank you.
yeah. Thanks for joining, guys. So I'm going to go with 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 8 through 9. "We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, struck down, but not destroyed." That means that when we are speaking on things, and we're speaking truth, we're speaking life into our lives, or we're even trying to get liberated from the devil's chains, things are going to happen. There's going to be opposition, way opposition, but that's when we have to trust God, that He already has a solution for the problems that we're facing today. He already had solutions for them yesterday or the day before. We just got to take our time and go through the process.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
We have a message. Let's look
I'm
at the
sharing.
message.
I'm sharing the talk, by the way. I'm sharing the
Hey,
talk.
I love it, guys. If you guys can you guys share the talk? We're gonna hit this message by
Can
Faye. Let's go.
everybody
Good morning,
share?
Living Tree. Good morning, Lotus. Hopefully, both of you are
Good
having an
morning,
amazing
Faye.
day. Honestly speaking,
Thank
I
you.
respect all of you and I love all of you. Aside from that, like when you go to certain things, you have to get your mind prepared because not every outcome that you will get will be positive. Sometimes it would be negative. So when you experience something is negative, so get ready that the devil might try to manipulate the situation, might tell you how weak you are, might try to take a control of your life. So don't let it happen.
Thank you for that, Faye. You're absolutely right.
Shout out to
And we're
Faye. Words of wisdom, guys. Sorry, Lotus, you were about to
yes.
say something. Go ahead, girl.
No, I was just saying Faye is correct. Like I think if we let other people, you know, bring their negativity to us and we dwell on it and we concentrate on that, it's only taking away from us. So I think we're both emotionally intelligent enough to, yeah, definitely see that and discern that and not let that distract us. Because living tree, I love how you deal with, the negative people when they come up and they say negative comments. Like you just don't give a fuck. You don't give them any energy. And I
Yeah,
think
you
that's the
can't.
way to deal with them. Yeah, that's the best way to deal with them. And their opinions, they can stick it up their arse. Sorry, but can we cut that part out as well? Yeah, don't add that.
Nah, it's okay,
But
honestly, at this point. As long as we're not being like, you know what I mean? All right, we have this message
yeah,
from Worm Million. Let's go.
What's up, you guys? Just waking up this Monday, June 29th, and it is 7:07 a.m. Pacific Standard Time where I am. I just want to celebrate what you guys are doing. Appreciate you both. And I hope you guys find the strength to let go of the old.
thank you. Thank you, I
Amen,
really
guys.
appreciate
Amen.
that. That
For
means a
sure.
lot. Thank you. Yeah.
For
Um,
sure.
I hope you're having a lovely day, and I hope you're enjoying the weather and you're gonna
I hope everything's going good, guys. And like I said, we're just talking from our own experiences, from our own trials and tribulations. And yeah, guys, sometimes the simplest thing you can do is let go, have discernment. Yesterday we spoke about discernment, how to be smart with our choices. Every choice we make is a path, and we get to choose whether we're gonna these choices are for us or they're for the greater good. You have to be honest when you're, in your trials and tribulations. You have to be uh not selfish to an extent where you're just gonna sabotage others for, or lie just to get what you need, and stuff like that. So when it comes to like those things, is letting go and then having the discernment to trust the process, because sometimes letting go feels empty. Yeah, especially if you're holding something hot, like a hot pan and everything, you're gonna feel the aftermark of holding it for so long. You're gonna feel that hurt, that pain, all that stuff. But that's where you trust God and heal before you walk through the new chapter. There has, because we have to be fair. Why would you want to deal with a boss or an employee or a spouse or a friend or just a person who's completely traumatized? Like, don't you think it's fair for us to heal before we get into the next chapter? Whether it's financially, physically, mentally, and everything. Like, I feel like we have to also be fair and go through the process and heal ourselves, so when we get to the next chapter, we can be a team player in this world we call life. Because we all, even though we're all living our own lives, we're on this earth together, guys, as a planet. We're living together on here, and we owe at least we can do in our own responsibility is be responsible enough to be our accountability, to use our accountability and be accountable for everything that we do. And be better, in my opinion. But I'm gonna go directly to the spiritual thing. Yesterday we were talking about generational curses, sin, fear, all that stuff, spiritual bondage. When we talk about those things, when we talk about setting the captives free, because through Christ we're able to break sin, fear, addiction, lies, spiritual bondage, stuff like that. The enemy often retaliates, guys. Just as Paul and Silas were praised God from the prison cell, guys, we are called to trust God and let go of our old life and believe that every prison that God allows can every prison, God can allow it to become a platform for someone else's freedom. The only reason Paul and Silas were thrown into prison was because they casted out a fortune telling spirit out of this girl, who had proclaimed them to be, the demon. A demon was proclaiming them to be the ones that were teaching people the way to salvation. So, we got a message from Worm Million. Let's see what we got here.
Trauma is such a deep topic, and I think that we all can look at each other and say, get over it, or we can help each other through it. Because I think
Yep,
that most
yep.
often, if there is no getting over anything, you just gotta get through it. And I think sometimes letting go takes a few takes a few tries. You know, it all depends on what you're trying to let go.
Yup, it really does. And that's where we have to be understanding. We can't bully each other either if we're trying to do this stuff. And I honestly think sometimes we have to go through some of these processes alone because God needs us to heal. Like I said, I have to heal in my own way and my own, realize that I have flaws in my own stuff, and heal before I join anything, or whether I become a leader in anything like that. That's my responsibility to become the best version of myself, especially if others are becoming part of something that we're creating and stuff like that. So God allows, like, believe that every prison God allows can become a platform for someone else's freedom, guys. And sometimes the shaking that opens your prison doors opens the hearts of those watching. So, for example, sometimes when somebody is watching you go through trials and tribulations and seeing how you are going through stuff, it can open and change the heart of somebody. For example, when Paul and Silas were in the prison, I don't know if you guys know this, we're in Acts chapter 16. The prison guard had been watching, not really watching them because he thought they had all escaped after the prison, but because they were worshiping all night and everything in the prison, the prisoners were watching them, seeing how good they were. And when the earthquake happened, nobody escaped. They were all still there because they knew the righteousness, and everything, and they saved the prison guard. Not only were they able to possibly save people in prison, but the guy that was supposed to guard them, they saved them too, and his whole family. And sometimes God puts us in those trials and prison systems, uh, or just place to liberate people, like right away for the liberation. And what started, the craziest part is what put them in physical prison is because they liberated someone from a spiritual prison. They liberated a young woman from a fortune telling prison that her bosses were making money off of. And God allows the enemy to attack you, but for the greater good. It's all for
Mm-hmm.
the glory of God, because it wasn't for Paul and Silas's glory. It wasn't for their comfortability. It was for the salvation of the prisoners and the prison guard. Most likely the prison guard and his whole family. But like, yeah, and like that's what, when it comes to these type of things, when it comes to trials and tribulations and all this stuff, like you have to realize that, it's for the greater good. For the greater good. It's for God to act, to use us for his thing. Especially, Paul and Silas, who were disciples and everything. They just praised God through they were in prison praising God. That's why when you're down on your luck, if you can get through that chapter in your life praising God, he's going to open the doors for you. He does. He always does. And that's a prime example. So I'm going to go back to over here. We started from Isaiah 43:18. Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past, see that I am doing something new. Do not dwell on the past, see that I am doing something new. When things don't work out, just know that God is making something new. When plans don't work out, see that God is doing something new. When your transportation or physical things don't happen, see that God is doing something new. Heck, when you lose your job, see that God is doing something new. Just know that instead of dwelling on, oh, holy crap, I lost this, I lost that, because I waste a lot of time sulking on my loss. And I think that's my biggest trial, my biggest tribulation is soaking on something that I've lost and not looking at the new thing or just going back in the past. And trauma tends to do that, guys. That demon attachment of trauma tends to get us in that past situation mentally imprisons us in that and emotionally in that time in our lives where everything was wrong, where the first time you felt this type of thing, and then you stay in that cycle, and that's where liberation comes in. For example, guys, relationships. I There was a point in my life where I was so lonely that I was just trying to fill this void in my heart, this loneliness. And it wasn't until recently, when I was like, okay, God, I'm tired of feeling lonely. I'm tired of feeling uh, unfulfilled because of how the world has us, like has us completely brainwashed to be. And I was like, you know what, God, I want to fill this void with you. I hear this in these movies. I hear this in the music. I hear this from people saying this. And I was like, I want to experience it. And that's when I told God, I was like, I want to fill this emptiness with you. And ever since then, I have not been afraid to lose much or anything, or lose people, or lose relationships, and stuff like that, because like I don't feel alone. Like, because you're not alone. You really aren't when you have God. You're really not alone. You have this Godfidence.
I'm so sorry I'm back. I keep.
No worries, girl. No
Did you get my
worries.
messages? Did you see what
Yes, I
I
did.
sent?
Yeah, no problem, girl. I
Okay.
heard you. I see it.
Mhm.
All right, we're gonna play
Yeah.
this message real quick, and we're gonna get
Okay.
back on to what we're talking about.
Yeah, I celebrate what you're doing. I celebrate it so hard. It's like it's good to think that there are people out there who actually care about each other. And just for like a moment, like I'm believing it. And so shout outs to you, shout outs to Lotus B London, and shout outs to the audience. You're filling my heart with some good stuff here. Appreciate you.
Oh, we love you, Worm. We love you guys. This is why we
We love you
created
too.
this podcast. We created the safe space. This is me and Lotus created the safe space to help us kind of heal. And while we heal, to let you know that you can heal with us. You can go through this stuff with us. You can share your part. You're welcome to do what you need to do. This is kind of like, I would say, like kind of like free therapy in a sense. Saying that, hey, we're giving each other like support and love, and I want you guys to know that the same support and love that we are given to each other, I want you guys to know that it's available to you too. Through God, through trusting in Him. Everything that I'm talking about is available to you guys. It's not just for me and Lotus. This podcast is not just for me and her. It's for all of us. And I want you to know that I'm glad that it is filling your heart, and that, that's God bless you, man. That's God. That is God. That is not us as people. This is just letting you know that you guys are not alone. That void, that emptiness, and
Yeah.
everything will be filled. It will be satisfied. You just got to trust God and let go of all the pain, all the hate, all the. If you feel like you've been hated, all the resentment, all the victim, all that stuff that makes you feel like a victim, let it go. Set yourself free and know that God is here. He is. He's here for all of us. He really is. And he comes through in so many different forms, so many different ways. You just got to learn to recognize it. Kind of like we were talking about yesterday about discernment. You got to learn how to recognize what is from God, what is not. Open your eyes and then start accepting all that is from God, and start getting your life full, your spirit full of his presence, his love, his provision, and his support. Because it is here, guys. It is here. I've seen it. I've seen it. And I see it every single day through people, through us. That's what you call the body of Christ. And that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be here for each other.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm so glad, like if we can help at least one person, if we can even change like someone's thought process that is negative about what their life is or what they're going through or what they're feeling, that's a beautiful thing because I always feel like if I ever go to the next world, I want to leave this world at least being able to make some kind of change in someone's life, even if it's one. And the weird thing is, I told you this on the phone earlier on, Living Tree. I've been getting like over this past 2 years, I've been getting people approach me and tell me that I've helped them in many different ways. But it's like, to me, I'm doing it subconsciously because by default, like, I don't know, like, I like to be what I want people to be for me to others. And I like to, like, because of what we both went through growing up in life and what I experienced, I kind of like, I relate to you a lot. And I feel like, I want to be that person that I never had growing up, but I want to do it in a way that doesn't take from me, that doesn't drain me. And I think this podcast is kind of a brilliant way as well because I've worked with people for 5 years. I've worked in mental health. I've done so many different jobs, volunteering as well, like working in hospitals, schools. And I realized that I love helping people, but it can be very draining. But
I
I
can.
also feel like we can find a way with doing it while we also benefit ourselves and we get other people to benefit. And I think if we could touch people through our words, through our experiences, and connect with people, and even like this is how you create a tribe. Do you know what I mean? And I've
Mm-hmm.
always wanted that in life. Like I've always wanted a group of people that I, because growing up, I never had that. Do you know what I mean? I low key feel like I was a very old soul as a child, and I never really I connected more with the elders, Living Tree. I never
Yeah.
connected with kids my age. Like, what the hell? I never understood. And I think because partly I was the eldest out of my siblings from my mother's side. And I think
Yeah.
because of like my early experiences of like certain traumas, I had to grow up really, really fast. So I never and as I grew up, like I also found it irritating when I saw people go through similar things, like go through the most minuscule things, and I would judge them and I would think, why are you complaining? Like what like, and then I stopped myself and I thought, wait, these people haven't gone through the same experiences and tests as you. You got to be patient with that. And it's like God teaches you patience in so many different ways, but I know I'm adding different things in, but it all kind of contributes together. It all comes together. Do you know what I mean? Like from your experiences and podcasts and just like, I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense to you, Living True? Does that make sense? Does it make sense? Are you there? She's not there. I think she's gone on a toilet break. Are
Oh
you
no,
on a? Is this a?
I was switching. Nah, we're good.
Okay.
So like, sorry guys, I was doing this. So like, the one thing that I will say, guys, is the closer you get to God, it's gonna cost something. That's why it's important to let go when you
Yeah.
get closer to God. Sometimes people think following God guarantees an easy life, and Jesus really never promised that,
No.
guys. He
Mm-mm.
promised His
Mm-mm.
presence. When darkness loses
Yeah.
its grip on someone's life, it doesn't simply surrender without resistance, guys. Sometimes the enemy will attack your reputation, your peace, your relationships, your finance, and your confidence. And that's not because you're losing, guys. It's because you're advancing. So you're gonna be attacked in so many different ways. Once that's
Your
why I've heard,
ego.
yeah, I've
Your
heard people
ego
on
will be
here.
attacked.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will. I've heard people on here legit saying, "Man, I tried following Jesus and my life went to hell. And the minute I just let go, it went back to normal." And I was like, "Damn, dude, you had chains that were
Yeah.
trying to break, and that resistance scared you instead of
Yeah.
letting it just pop and letting go and walking away. Like that's what happens." And the same thing
Oh,
is when you're letting, like
wow.
Paul and Silas. I don't think if I explained to you guys this, but I think I only told Lotus this, but the reason why Paul and Silas were thrown into a prison is because they had encountered a slave girl possessed by a spirit that allowed her to tell fortunes, and she followed them around shouting the truth that they were the servants of God and that they had the way to salvation. But the spirit's purpose wasn't to glorify God, it was trying to create confusion. So eventually, Paul, through the authority of Jesus Christ, commands her spirit to leave, and then immediately she's delivered. But instead of celebrating her freedom, the owners became furious because they lost the money they were making from exploiting her. And then they accuse Paul of Silas,
Oh,
and then they get thrown into prison. So what happened there? These Christian men were thrown into prison because they let go, set a captive free from a spiritual prison, and then in prison themselves, where they were sent to work and set more captives free. So like that's the thing is like even through this stuff, Paul and Silas were praising, singing hymns in prison. So it's really
and
like
that
a
and that
it's
and that tells you, that teaches you, like for example, it teaches you that even in the midst, when you're going through the worst of the worst, even that is a blessing. Even that, like, you're changing people's life in your own suffering and discomfort, because God is using you sometimes to help others, but at that point it may look like as if you're being punished or you're
yeah.
being dry, like broken, but really you're not. You're being molded by God,
You are. I
literally.
just got I just got a message from Rumi, and another good example, guys, is the story of Job. You know, even though Job had not done anything, God put him through this test. Even though if you see the story of Job, it's a metaphoric story. But through his trial and tribulation, you know, he even though he was suffering, he did complain, and God was like, "Where were you when I built all this stuff?" You know, he's like, "You don't understand. Like I am God. God has shown Himself to people in different ways, you know, many different ways. And but through those trial and tribulations, when you get through it, God gives you double for your trouble. He does. He gives you double for your trouble.
Yeah,
You just got to keep a good attitude, because that's what the God. That's another reason. You know, the devil was testing Job because he's like, the only reason this guy praises you is because you have him on your payroll and you coddle him and he's your favorite teacher's pet. You know, that's kind of how he went and
yeah,
did that thing. And God's like, no, I'll show you. Do this, but you can't take this. Do this, but you can't take this. Okay, do this, but you can't take that. And it was all a test to test our perseverance, you know.
that's
And
powerful.
that's what life is. Life is a
But
test.
then when you go through these things, living true, and you experience these rough times, right? Because we all do. We all have ups and downs of life, like recognizing that and understanding that even the prophets, even the disciples went through trials and tribulations. We are no better than them. Who are, do you know what I mean? Like, if God can put them through trials and tribulations, which is a blessing, but sometimes we don't see it. We think, oh my God, like we're going through shit. Why is God doing this to us? But we think, we have to start thinking, what is God trying to do? What is He trying to teach us? And when you shift your mind to what, and it doesn't have to be Christianity for you, it could be whatever you believe in, right? Whatever that is for you. Like it really changes and shifts your whole mood and mind. And it's a powerful feeling, actually, living tree, like realizing that it really helps you heal a lot. And while I was listening to you, I swear to God, like I felt like my internal thoughts were rearranging positively as you were speaking and I was listening, because it made me think twice now. Like even before I did think like this, but I'm more adamant now every time I go through these trials and tribulations, like learning from what you've taught me is not to let it destroy me, not to let it consume me, because it's a blessing, really.
It is. It
Sometimes
is. It
trials
is.
are a blessing. And the fact is, even in those blessings, there are miracles. Like you went through miracles, I went through miracles, but sometimes we don't see it because we're not that gratitude to God. Like sometimes we forget and we think,
Our
oh God,
emotions can
like,
blind us, guys. Like
yeah,
it can blind us from
yeah,
when you're mad. It can blind you from seeing the positive thing. It really can. Like you said, gratitude. It can blind you from being
yeah.
grateful for something
And
legit.
when you lose gratitude and you lose that part of you, because gratitude is such a big like manifester towards God. When you show gratitude to God, when you show gratitude and respect to your situation and understanding it and having discernment, you elevate. Especially also the talk that we were having about letting go. Like I realized something about myself, Living Tree. Every time I've let go of a situation that was not good for me, I always end up elevating in life. And
Yes.
that's because I listened to God and I listened to, I saw it. I saw what I needed to see. And I realized that this ain't for me. And I have to let go, whether it's people, places, or things, even materialistic things. Because you can create better when your mind is empty. And when I say empty, I'm talking about empty of things that you're trying to hold on to, things that are hurting you, are bothering you. Like when you let go and you let God in, you give space for healing, you give space to create, you give space because that emptiness is where you create, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that moment that you're alone, that isolation period that you're in, that time that you've let go and you even feel empty and you feel that void, that is God molding you in those moments. But
Yep.
are you
Amen.
willing? And the thing is, are we willing to accept that? Are we willing to have that isolation, that period of realizing what it really is, what God's showing us? And we can only hear that in isolation sometimes, in
Mm-hmm.
silence. And that's why I said, just stop and pray, Living
Yep.
Tree.
Stop,
At
drop, and
times when I
pray.
talk to you, yeah, when
Yep.
you pray, like you get the answers that you need and you quiet down the noise and you just connect to him. And it doesn't have to be Jesus, guys. Like it can be for you what you believe in your heart. Like for me, I'm a Muslim, Living Tree's a Christian, but we both have, like, for me, Jesus Christ is as precious to me as it is to Living Tree because I believe he's my prophet. But in Christianity, they believe he is the son of God, right?
Well, I believe he's my
And
Lord and Savior.
Lord and Savior. Okay. And I think it's lovely that we have that as well. It's like we have that connection because we both kind of believe in similar things as well. And
Well,
I
I
want to
honestly
do,
do believe that Christ is the only way. That is my personal belief. I do believe
yeah,
Christ is the only way. Um,
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I 100%, I get that. And I think it's beautiful that the way that you put it, like, and the way that you explain it, because it shows that you've read the Bible, you understand it. And when you explain and you put out the message, you do it in a way that is so understandable. And not, you don't have to be a Christian to understand it. Do you know what I mean?
You don't.
You could be
Yeah.
from other religions and still appreciate the message. Because in my
And
religion, it
And I
tells
love
me to
that,
learn
Lotus, the
about,
fact that you're
yeah,
like, yeah, you're what you were about to say exactly what, sorry. I love that Lotus, she is learning about Christianity. She's learning about this stuff. Because in your religion, you're told to do this, right?
yeah. We are told to do it. We're told to learn about other religions and practices so we can, but that doesn't mean that, we leave our own God. Like it just means that we have that knowledge and we take the message, the good message, that's what I do. I like to learn
Mm-hmm.
from other practices and I like to take the good message from that and implement it into my life. It doesn't mean that it's taking away from me or saying I don't believe in what I believe in. It means that I appreciate and I understand and I accept the message that you're giving. So I love
I
it.
love
I
that. I
think it's
love that.
great.
I love that for you, actually, Lotus. And I hope that this talk not only helps you, but helps a whole bunch of people.
It
Because I
really
feel
does.
like,
It helps.
I understand. I'm not going to be over here like, no, Jesus is the only way, you're a heretic, blah, 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 blah. No, that's not what we do here. She's willing to learn. She has, you have your own things like that. I'm willing to learn about her beliefs and everything like that. We both have our own beliefs and everything, but I'd rather have these conversations where we're helping each other instead of fight
Yes.
with each other over what we believe in. And that's how you should act, honestly. You should be able to agree to disagree and then work together in these podcasts. I'm gonna hit this message because I think he sent it like 10 minutes ago.
Yes,
But we're in a
please. Thank
million.
you.
Let's go.
Thank you,
I
Juan.
just in my later years because I'm known to have atheistic views. I mean, I'm agnostic to the point where I might as well be an atheist. And I know that if there's a God, then he doesn't enjoy that, doesn't want that for me. But like one of my challenges, like in my elder years, my most old years, or whatever, is like being able to connect with people despite like religious differences. And I think that is something like that I'm quite proud of. Like, I can connect with people. I'm connecting with you guys. I really appreciate your guys' message today. Um, Lotus, I appreciate what you're saying. And Living Tree, appreciate you too. I like the show. Good stuff.
I
We
love it,
must
One
be
Whalen.
doing
Thanks for
something
joining.
amazing. We must be doing something good, like, because if you know what I mean, if a person who's agnostic to the point that they're nearly atheist, and they see the message and they appreciate that, that just shows you whatever we're doing while we're healing ourselves, it's working, Living Tree. Like, and Worm's not the first one that said this. Like, quite a few people have said this about our podcast, not just Shadow, but in the background they've got messages. So
Yeah, yeah.
I
And thanks
appreciate
for
you
joining,
too,
guys.
Worm. Thank you.
Shout
Yeah,
out to Wermilion, Menaissance, Faye, Rumi, Sparkle Duck, Lifesure, Dr. Tone. Thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for coming in this
thank
morning, guys. And
you.
we're going to try to do this as much as possible. And I would love you guys to join us for this. We call it the safe space. And we're going to be posting these on YouTube. So make sure you guys are liking, sharing, and following our YouTube channel. I'm going to put the link on here while we play these messages. Could you play those messages, Lotus?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Thank you, girl.
Shout out to everyone.
Islam says that the Christian and the Jew are people of the book, meaning that they are also believers in God and his prophets, except the message has been manipulated over time. Thus, the Quran is the last and final preserved revelation from the Creator. People of the book, meaning people of the same Creator, of the same message and messengers. Um, so we're all one, basically.
Thanks for your
We are
message,
all
man. Thanks
one.
for your message.
Yeah, thank you. We are all one. We are all God's children. And I think when we recognize that we are all God's children, and you know what I mean, when you're God's child, you are loved by God. And when
Yep.
you are a human being that understands God and loves God, you also love God's creation. And that's part of anybody, whether they're Christian, whether they're Jews, whether they're, I don't know, atheist, agnostic, any type of religion, even sexual orientation. Like, the religion should never teach to hate on another human being just because they believe in something different or their sex is a
Mm-hmm.
different. That's got nothing to do with us or you as an individual. That's between them and God. And I think we dwell too much on what other people do instead of really looking at ourselves and molding us, letting God mold us to be what He wants us to be, to live in the purpose that He wants us to be. We have to mind our own business in that sense, you know. And I've been learning to mind my
Yep.
own business for the past few years. Like, I've been learning to just understand what it is, see what it is, and just not be judgmental. Do you know what I mean? And
Yep.
not
I love
really,
that.
because yeah, like, and learning from people. Like, you can learn from people from all types of backgrounds, all religions,
Mm-hmm.
people from all sexual orientations, all of that. Like, you learn from everybody that you come past, and it's either a lesson or a blessing. You know, I believe that
Amen.
definitely. Yeah,
And
you're
we were talking
either a
about yesterday,
lesson or a
yeah,
blessing.
blessings from lessons. And then the day before was stop, drop, and pray. And I think it's awesome that we are like going, like you said, I think it's awesome that we go from daily experiences and then applying it to life. So I'm going to go to the point 4 on this discussion, guys. So The reason why, like, sometimes your prison is someone else's miracle, because we're going off of the Bible, we're going with Paul and Silas on that subject. The jailer, guys, was ready to take his own life because he believed all the prisoners had escaped. Paul stopped him, and then the jailer asked one of the greatest questions in the scripture: what must I do to be saved? Now imagine this, guys. If Paul and Silas never had gone through that prison, the jailer and his household might have never encountered Christ. Sometimes a place that feels like your greatest setback becomes a place where God reaches someone else. And that's why we are doing these things. It's to just to, like I said, to heal ourselves, but also not really to discuss about what religion is right or not. It's just giving our examples and our testimony of what our relationship with God looks like. Because if we get into the discussion of what religion and everything, we're kind of playing on ego, you know, more than anything. You're trying to glorify
Yeah,
a doctrine or a something more than actual God. I think talking about our relationships with God and our own personal little miracles and little experiences are way better, more glorifying than to discuss, uh, religion. But anyways,
100%, 100%. That is such a
uh,
powerful, powerful message in the Bible. What was the name again, so people can know, like, if they want to go back to this passage?
so we're
What was
reading
it
from
called?
I'm on chapter 16 of Acts, guys. I read the whole chapter this morning, and I thought it was pretty cool going into the discussion of it's chapter 16, but the main scripture was 16 through 40. But I read the whole chapter. I recommend you guys reading the whole chapter from chapter 16, from front to the bottom, all of it. It's pretty powerful. It just teaches me and the people around me that you know when you're going through trials and tribulations, even if you're doing everything right, like, yesterday we started this podcast. Lotus knows what's going through, what I'm going through and everything. And I know what she's going through. Even though we're doing everything right, we're trying to do the stuff the devil and the enemy is going to try to attack us.
Oh
And
yeah.
sometimes because we ruin the devil's plans, like Paul and Silas liberating that
We get
girl,
punished.
yes, we get punished, but what we see as punishment is more liberation for other people. God is sending us to deeper
Yes.
levels to get to people who
Yes.
are trapped to set them free. So, you got to take that into consideration that sometimes your prison and your time in prison is someone else's miracle. It really is.
But also, can we accept the fact that even when we think we're being punished, right? When we are working in, like, when we're doing God's work on this earth, right? Even if it's even speaking in message, whatever, like whatever that is, and you feel like you're being punished by the devil for it. Have you noticed that even in the midst of that thought that you think is a punishment from the devil, which it probably is at times, you still are protected, living tree. Have you noticed?
Yeah, you're covered. You're covered.
You're
You're
still
legit covered.
covered even in that punishment. Even in that punishment, you're always still going to be okay, even if you think you're not okay, because God knows God knows your future. Do you know what I mean? God
He
sees what's
does.
coming towards you and he stops it even in the midst of those trials that you're going through. And if we start to look at things like that, we won't feel like sometimes, oh my God, like God doesn't love me, he's punishing me, or what's
Yeah,
going on?
right.
What is this?
Why do
Yeah,
you hate me? We all get into
yeah.
that point, like, why do you hate me,
We
God?
get
Why
to
do you
that
put me
point
through these things?
sometimes. I felt like that. Do you know what I mean? I felt like that when I was about 17. Like there was a point where I did not want to be connected to God. But the more that I felt that way, the more my spirit kept telling me, just because you were taught the religion in a way that was not very nice and you were forced into it, doesn't mean that that depiction of God that you were given is what God is. Learn God
Yep.
for yourself. You can, and I found God in everywhere when I started to think and I started to learn about God and I gave God a chance, a second chance, I realized that I saw God's love everywhere I went. And I'm not just saying this because I'm just saying this. Like, I genuinely feel like I was seeing God's love in people, in places, in children, in animals. Like, me studying to be a GP vet right now, it didn't come out of nowhere. Like I've always attracted animals to me to the point that I need to, like, if you ever come to the UK and we hang out, right? Which you will one day, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna see how I am with animals, right? Like if we go to a lake, for example, like I'm not even joking with you, like the ducks and the swans, like one
Uh-huh.
time, I think I even video recorded this. They were following me in a line as I was walking up out of the park. They were literally following me like in a row.
Oh,
These
that's
were
so cute.
swans. It was a swan, a goose, and a family of baby ducks and its mum.
Ooh.
And I'm just like, and I started talking to, I talk to animals, by the way. I know that sounds
Yeah, I do
weird,
too.
but
Yeah, I do too.
I
I talk
love
to my dog and
animals.
everything. They understand you though. They
They
really understand
do.
you.
They actually do understand me. And I'm
Yeah,
just like,
animals, dogs, they understand you. They really
the way I talk to Bean and the way he understands me is creepy sometimes. Like, I'll tell him, can you do A, B, and C? He'll look at me and he won't respond. But then I'll say, do you want A, B, and C? And then he'll jump up and come to me. And I'm like, you selfish little cutie. Like, what do you,
do.
do you know what I mean? Like, they flipping know. They're smart. Some
Yes,
of
they
these
are.
animals are smart as hell. Like, cats, dogs, like, even squirrels. Like, I've had
Even
conversations with
squirrels.
squirrels.
You're like, even squirrels.
I've taken videos of them doing a
Stop.
dialogue, like in action, and I've done voiceovers for them. Have you seen the video of the squirrels that I did in
No.
the forest? I went
No.
to the forest and there was these two squirrels that were literally just vibing, and then I found a voiceover for it, and it was so funny because it matched exactly their actions and what they were doing. It was
That's
quite
funny.
cute.
Squirrels. Squirrels are awesome, guys. I love it.
They're so cute. I love
They are.
otters. Otters are the best. And I love raccoons. They're so cute.
Well, they are. Well, I think we should end the podcast here and we can probably
Yeah,
start a new talk show just to talk and
It
everything.
doesn't mean we
But, guys,
celebrate
thank
yeah.
you so much
the
for
things
joining,
that
guys.
keep us
Renaissance
bound by
Sparkle
hate.
Duck
We listen
in
first, then we
Thank
Christ
reflect,
you.
holding
we
each other with
trust,
love and
beloved. Thanks
respect.
for
Truth and compassion walk
joining,
hand
guys.
in
I
hand.
appreciate
That's
you
how real
guys. You
healing
guys are
finally
awesome. Thanks for joining. I'm
stands.
just gonna
Bring
end
your
this
questions,
talk
bring your
here, so
fears,
that
bring
way I
your
can
laughter,
just
bring the taste,
download it
bring your
and
face,
edit
bring your
on it.
dreams.
But
Nothing's
we
ever
can
what it
continue the
seems. Every
conversation
ending
and
and every
everything. But
start,
guys,
every
thank you
broken human
for
heart.
letting
We're
go
not
of the
here
old
to
and
stay the
trusting God when
same.
freedom provokes opposition. Thank you
We're
for
here to
listening to that.
grow
This is the
beyond the
safe space with
pain. Welcome
Lotus,
to the safe
B London,
space.
and Tree of Life, Living Tree of Life. Make sure you guys hit that link up here, guys. I'm gonna stay up here for 5 more minutes. Make sure you guys are following us on YouTube. Sorry, I was about to say something else, and Instagram. And I'm gonna post this on YouTube, guys. So check us out.
Welcome to the safe space where courage finds a place to stay. We own our choices, learn and grow. One